Karina here, your Lucid Living coach. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm an intuitive, transformational life coach and astrologist, and I'm here to give you some of information about the USA and what the hell is going on. So, as you can see, I have two charts. This one is the progress chart. And this one is the United States, which is in the middle. United States, which our birth into the new world was 4th of July. I think it was the 2nd technically, but the 4th of July, 1776. This on the outside of the chart will be the transiting Pluto conjunct natal Pluto. So the United States is actually having a Pluto return happening on February 20th, 2022, which is next week. What? Oh my God. So Pluto, as we know, a planet, poor little dude, got demoted as not a planet anymore. But that just says it's just a little bit deeper within, because it's kind of like an onion with the planets, how the center of the onion is deep, deep within us. So you can think of the center of the onion as being planets further away. And then the outer layer of the onion is things that we can see, like, whoa, the sun. Whoa, we're on Earth. Whoa, look at Venus, look at Mars. So the planet that we can see with the naked eye is the last planet would be Saturn. And we kind of see those around. Saturn rules the structures in society. And that is like government systems, school systems, the lines on the road when you're driving. It contains things. It's the constrictor. So we could see like the physical world around us. It's very earth, like Taurus, okay? And Capricorn. Now, when Saturn and Pluto came conjunct, so here's our natal Pluto. Saturn's in Aquarius. He was in Capricorn and conjunct in the beginning of 2020. And that's when we had this pandemic happen in the United States. So if you think about it, Pluto represents transmutation, death, rebirth, regeneration, viruses, the hidden things, destruction, obsession, creation, metamorphosis. So when we have this energy in the area of the sky, which governs structures, government systems, Pluto has been working on destroying and dismantling our systems that have been in play for a very long time. If we think back to 1774, this is when the Continental Congress was created. That means that a limited few were making decisions for the masses. So this kind of system is still in play, like the voting system, presidents. These presidents are supposed to represent the people. However, it's come a long way. It no longer works. We have a two-party system, which we don't want to pick from this toy and this toy. Okay? We're not idiots anymore. We want another toy. We want something that is not a part of these choices that are made without our okay. Okay? I don't want to pick between two parties because that's just not me. You might have a different opinion and everyone's entitled to that. But in the case of this presentation and education, this is just what I'm seeing. So the destruction is happening here in the United States. And it has been building up to this Pluto return. So as you can see, the United States, Pluto's at 27 degrees, 33 minutes. And then we have the transiting Pluto. These are the planets on the outside that we're looking at February 20th, 2022, which is coming up on a Sunday. And it is also at 27 degrees, 33 minutes. So as you can see, they are aligned at the same area of the sky that happened in 1776. Well, if we also think back to 1775, this is when there was a mass pandemic for smallpox. So smallpox was one of the things that really assisted in destroying the old world back then, which the old world was indigenous people and Spaniard quests. It wiped out the old world. And then we had the American Revolution during that time. And we're seeing a lot of things kind of come up a lot about slavery, because slavery was still okay back in 1776, even though we were independent and all of a sudden we're free and all this, but there was also a group of people that were not free, that did not have equal rights. And so we're starting to see a little bit of that today, as well as some initiated type drama between I believe Russia and the Ukraine. I am not up to date on things. I just kind of do my own little like peek-ins, okay? So you all know what's going on in the world. So there's a lot of repeats that are happening. Now in 1776, and that's what this chart is on, this was the beginning of the new world. And so let's just mark that as, do you see this moon? The United States has a moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. Now, what I did was I was looking at the United States progressions, which is going to be found in this chart, the white chart, this one. It shows the dichotomy of yin and yang too. It's kind of cool. This chart, I looked up the progressions of the moons. And I think that's really important, especially when I'm doing chart readings and I'm looking at someone's natal chart to kind of see where they are progressed in this life and their soul's evolution, maybe what their focus is on. So progressions, they move per day as the moment you took your first breath, and then it shows where you're progressing in your chart. Now, I looked at the progressions. So here's 27 degrees of Aquarius for the United States. I just particularly looked at the moon cycles. So if you know about moon cycles, you have the new moon, you have the first quarter. Okay, this is like a waxing moon. Okay, then you have the full moon, which is an opposition. And then you have the third quarter. Okay. And then it's like a waxing gibbous, like you could really see it in the sky. Or I'm sorry, full moon, waxing gibbous, and then you have, then you have the waning moon, okay, which is more third quarter, and then you have the new moon again. So it's this cycle. I cut it up in 4, which you have 4 seasons. You have the 4 cardinal cross in astrology charts. Okay, so you have the IC, the MC, the AC, and the DC, and this is a cardinal cross. Now, this is found a lot in cycles. So with that being said, the first quarter, okay, this is the waxing gibbous of the United States for the progression chart. It would have been, the moon would have been in Taurus. Now, the moon was in Taurus around July 2001. What happened in the United States in 2001? Right. It was 9/11, our first terrorist attack on the United States, right? So that was a huge shift. And this was at a first quarter square. Now, the moon then was opposite, okay? The moon. So I would say that this was like kind of like a lunar opposition, which to me is much like a completion, right? It's intense. This happened when the moon was in Leo in 2008. So what happened in 2008 for the United States? That's right. It was the big market housing crash. That was huge. If you could think of anything else, please comment below. All this research is a collective thing. This is just the way that I was seeing and reading these charts that I was called to. Then we have the third quarter, which is kind of like the waning gibbous. It's the last, it's pretty much at the last quarter before its new beginning. This would have been, the moon was in Scorpio, which Scorpio is the ruler of Pluto, which is of like the taboo things, the things that we don't talk about, secrets, other people's resources. And this was happening around 2015. So what was happening in 2015 that was pretty significant? I can tell you a couple. If you know anything about anything that happened in 2015, please feel free to share. One is the global poverty fell at the lowest ever in the United States. I did not know that. There's all of a sudden these separation between the middle class and the rich and the poor. Okay. I thought this was interesting. NASA's first flyby of Pluto. Okay. And the moon was, the progressed United States moon was in Scorpio, which the ruler is Pluto and Mars. But the Supreme Court also affirmed same-sex marriage, which was huge, right? That's very Scorpio too. Scorpio is very sexual, and it's the taboo things. People want that to be a normal thing. Like we want to have inner sexual relations, and we want to be seen under the government as an equal too. So that was kind of huge. Also, racial unrest under police killings in the United States, which following that, we had Black Lives Matter. The US saw the most deaths by Islamic terrorism since 2001, which was the first quarter moon. And then the millennials surpasses the boomers as the biggest US generation. That's huge. So all these things happened in 2015. Now the progressed moon is making its way in Aquarius, and it's going to conjoin at 27 degrees on September 26th, 2022. This will be the United States lunar return. What does this mean? The moon is the mother, it is the nurture, it's the home, it's our emotions, it's the way that we kind of intuit the world around us. I feel like it's going to be a reset. So if you think of those 3 years that I mentioned, 2001, 2008, 2015, and now the final cycle is 2022. This is the ending, okay? We have US Pluto return on February 20th. It will be dancing in this area of the sky for 2 years. 2023 to me is the end of the world. And in 2024, there will be a rebirth. And that will be, I'll show you, I'll pull up the chart. Here is the progressed moon for March 26, 2024. This is when the sun and the progressed sun and the progressed moon in the United States reaches one another at 19 degrees of Pisces. Now, Pisces is the ending. It is the last house of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It is connecting with all. This is where we are going to merge and begin a whole new progressed lunar cycle for the United States. So if you've been wondering what the hell has been going on, that's what's been going on. Starting with the Saturn conjunct United States Pluto, and it started with that, with the pandemic. And then at the end of 2000, there was the conjunction of Jupiter, I believe Jupiter and Saturn, if I remember correctly, and that initiated another cycle. So there's all kinds of major conjunctions and aspects happening in the sky around us. Astrology is one of the oldest research in science that there is. I believe, or I heard, that certain platforms are starting to censor and hide us astrologists away. It is a very powerful tool, and if it gets in the wrong hands, like shadow governments or leaders, it could be a problem, because then they could predict, and they probably already do, when the collective is kind of more in a vulnerable state. Deception, illusions. I did notice a lot of stuff come out during really hard transits for us. Neptune, that's all you have to do. Look at this little Neptune guy. This little Neptune guy, 22 degrees too. Whoa, it's kind of chaotic. Neptune in our chart is in Virgo in the 9th house. So the 9th house rules foreign travel, education, spirituality, and stuff of that sort. So we might have been not seeing our education system very clearly. I started seeing it very clearly my graduation of 2012, when I was like, oh my God, this education system is a part of the big system, like the hospital systems. They're all partnered together. So they're teaching us certain things that they're going to have in the hospitals if you're being trained to be a nurse. And then it's connected with the pharmaceuticals. And it's just all one big money business, somewhat of a scam, in my opinion, because there are a lot of cures for the things that we have naturally. And they, the pharmaceutical companies are just really pushing drugs that are highly addictive, and it doesn't really fix or cure the problem. It just fixes the symptoms so you don't feel anymore and become like a numb. Okay. Another thing that's very Plutonian. So do you remember when we were younger? I don't know how old you are, but we had cigarette advertisements everywhere. We had them on television. We had them in magazines. We had them on billboards. Do you know how we got all those gone? Does anyone know? Please help me, because pretty much all those advertisements were banned because cigarettes are not good for us. And they were promoting cigarette smoking in our kids. Well, I have the same problem with all the pharmaceutical drugs that they keep advertising. They advertise on billboards. They advertise on commercials. They advertise on ads, pop-up ads. Literally, we need to stop this because it is affecting even our children. Our children are being put on pharmaceutical drugs at early ages. Even our pets, they have gotten absolutely crazy. And now with the pandemic and pushing all these vaccines, like seriously, I'm a liberal that do not believe in mandatory vaccines. I'm just going to put it out there. There are unicorns. I don't have to be a Republican. I don't have to be a Trumpster. I could use my own brain to know that it is not right. They're trying to enslave us like they did with the Black slaves back in the days. 1776. We had, all of a sudden, we're independent. This is the birth of the new world, but there was still slavery. There's something wrong with that. You can't say that we're all equal and we have all these rights when we're not. Like, we need to stand together. And you know what? To be honest with you, I agree with the truckers because they're standing up for their rights and they're actually helping us people continue to have our freedoms that we deserve. We should be free to choose what happens with our body. We should have freedom to choose to make money and a living without having to subscribe to some medical treatments. You guys, we have to come together. Regardless of what you are, left or right wing, we're all the same bird. It's the same bird. Okay. I am right in the middle. I have been a liberal all my life, but this has awakened something else. Like, I actually see both sides and each have equivalent, specialties, right? Like each party has what they specialize in and what they bring to the table, but we need to stop battling and separating people from religion and class and political standings. This is such a Plutonian talk. Like, it's the things that we don't talk about and we need to start talking more about. Is we need to come together and we should stop separating each other. I mean, the government and the leaders and the television are all about trying to separate us, because what happens when they separate us is that we do the work for them. It makes it easier to control us, because instead of being one and working together, we're working apart, and we're pointing fingers and tattling and, killing each other off. We need to be supporting each other against these big elitists that make all the money and make all the rules. And, they don't follow by all the rules, but we have to. It just doesn't make sense to me. None of it makes sense as to why we are still living in this illusion of separation. But okay, I'm done with my rant. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking my video. This is a crazy United States cycle. We're coming up to our lunar return. We're coming up. That would be, let's see, our lunar return. Write down some dates. Lunar return, September 26th, 2022. Let's see what goes on then. Then we have the new moon cycle for the United States, progressed new moon on March 26, 2024. Let's see what starts to peek out in the ways of the collective. We are repeating a cycle of Pluto and a cycle of the moon. And this is, we had the American Revolution last time Pluto was here. So what kind of revolution are we experiencing today? And how will we be a part of making history and finally stop repeating the same old freaking story over and over. It's about time that we rise up and be one, and stand up. And we need our freedoms, because what is the new world? The new world, they're going to try to put us in the little metaverse, and then they'll control everything, censor everything, control the money again. Cryptocurrencies gave us our power back, and they're trying to take that away from us again because they want ultimate power. And the only way that they're going to be able to do it is to shove us into the metaverse. So stay awake, stay mindful, and stay wise. Now, if you'd like a reading, please go over to my website at www.lucidlivingmovement.com. If you'd like a personal astrology reading, I could also look up your personal progress chart and transits to see what cycle you're in, what area of life that the universe is focusing on, so you could evolve and level up quicker. If you would like to learn astrology, to read charts, I host 3 workshops, all available for the low price of $180. You can get all 3 workshops. They're roughly about 4 or more hours of content, which I condense it into PowerPoints and do a little presentation. So don't miss out, guys. Peace out. Your Lucid Living Coach, Karina.